Well, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here, greeting his boys and girls, and welcome to this, another brand new day. Oy vey, what a day yesterday was. Hokey Smokes. First off, though, of course, to start things off, the daily Shelton, Washington weather, plague, rat, and spider report. Because Hokey Smokes, I got a lot of little stories to tell. Some of them life and death, and some of them just funny. So, for the weather report, I think it sounded like it was raining earlier. Now, I've been up really early. I woke up at 3:30 with gut pain, and so by the time I was finished with business, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I wake up naturally around 5 from pain. So, going back to bed, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. I'd just be lying there in bed going, gosh, So I've been up since 3:30, 4 o'clock, yay. But for the spider report, am I on the spider report yet? No, that was the weather report, then there's the plague rat report, and then I'll talk about the spiders. First, plague rat, I didn't go walkies last night, so I don't know. No, I went walkies yesterday day because of the other story that I'll get to. But now for the spider report, because this is the big one. I got in here 4 o'clock. Put in my earphones. I just turn on the little light down by the side when it's dark outside so that the bugs don't have extra incentive to flood their way inside here. And so I'm just watching my monitor and I'm listening to stuff. And then after about a half hour or so, I noticed that down here, right here next to me, I'm going to have to move over because it's not right here, but it was over this direction, just this far, which still you can't see, but you know, it's just over that far. Down comes a garden spider. Well, I've always wondered why they do that. Why they just come a-dangling down. I think I've got further insight on that one. That's just part of their web building. She was building up a web. She didn't just come down dangling. When I started to, because I picked up my back scratcher, I used part of that just to snag webs and move spiders. I started snagging and she wasn't moving all that well, and I realized she was anchored in a bunch of spots. She had made like a ceiling anchor, a wall anchor, I think a monitor anchor, probably a me anchor, and was just trying to build her orb right there. So I gathered her up on a stick and I moved her over to the other side of the room, because I don't mind her being here. I don't mind her eating bugs. I don't mind spiders. I mean, sure, I had a brief instant of, and every hair going up on my body when I noticed she was dangling. I'm a human being. I have a primitive fear of creepy crawlies. And so in the dark, noticing there's a creepy crawly right next to me that I hadn't even noticed, yeah. At first, it was like, every hair on my body. But then it was like, oh, I get it, I understand. It's like the rational reasoning part took over, because I've got the primitive fear of creepy crawlies, but my arachnophobia is like 99% gone. So I got my back scratcher, just hooked her up, and it took a lot of grabbing hold of webs with my fingers so I could lift her up so I could hook her with the stick again. And then finally got her up there, and then she was moving down, so I couldn't get her outside. And so, like I say, the other side of the room. Now, the other garden spider, she's okay. She's still in her web. She used to be over here as well until I moved her over there. I mean, she was up there, but still. Don't mind them being here. We're sharing this time on Earth. So, hopefully, she'll stay over there. Otherwise, I'll just have to gather her up and move her again. And then downstairs in the bathroom, uh-oh, that little spider that I have been watching for like the past week, she's dark color, very dark brown, and she's small. Like I say, altogether when she's bundled up, I mean, she's like small. And when she's got her legs out, she's like maybe that big. See, she's not big, but she's made her home the entire ceiling. Well, today, actually it was been the past couple days, there's been another spider up in the corner. One of those tiny body, long leg ones. And it's been up there. Well, this morning, the little one that I've been watching was moving along her web to get away, and the bigger one was tracking her. And I was wondering, is this going to be the end? Am I going to watch a life or death struggle? But in the end, she got far enough, and then it just started building up more webbing where it had stopped and was making it bigger and more dangling down into where I would be. So I got a stick, gathered it up, took it outside, and it's probably going to die because it's an indoor spider. But I interfered. So the little one's okay for now. Who knows what's going to happen? It was mostly because the larger one had started building its web downward, and it was right above the porcelain throne, and so I didn't want it getting too wild and coming down into that area. So still, that's the spider report. Now, Hokey Smokes. Yesterday, 7:10 a.m. I'm 10 minutes into my vlog here, just like I'm doing now, just talking and yammering about stuff. Now, I've mentioned out in the neighborhood, just about every single day you can hear off in the distance some form of explosion as a transformer blows up. Now, we've already had hours that, powers, there's only a few houses that the transformer for our houses service. So if that one goes, there's a smaller way, it's more difficult to find. But it sounded like a bomb went off. The house shook. So at 7:10, there's wham! And then a half beat after that, plum! Everything shuts down here in the house. Oh boy. Now, I'd said before, a couple years back, it blew up, and it took forever for them to be able to fix it. At first, some of my housemates were having to argue with them saying, "We got you, your power is all back." And they're like, "No, it's not. It's not back." And so they sent someone out, and it took a lot of work and it took hours to get it done. And yesterday, when the power came back on at noon here, I went outside to see how they were doing, and I talked to them. And it's an older transformer, and it's buried. That's why it's harder to fix. And apparently, at least in this case, it's not the transformer that explodes. It's when something goes wrong and a power line or some such breaks. When the line breaks, that's what we hear, at least in the buried transformer situation. It may be true for everything where the transformer itself isn't exploding, but the things that attach to it give out. Because one of the power lines itself was out. Now, because it's buried and it's old, and they didn't make maps of where they put the lines back then, one of the things they had to do, I mentioned that we're abutted up against a forest. I mean, that's not unnatural. That's like, if you're in southern Shelton, 90% of all the housing here is up against forest. So that's not unusual. And there's a lot of semi-new construction. I say semi-new because, it's within the past 20, 30 years. And so there's new stuff out there. But anyway, so there's the explosion. Line down. They have people out in the forests walking through. I found out one of the ways that they locate this stuff is not with high-tech tools. No, they just walk through the forest listening. Because you can hear the broken line. It's not super loud, but it comes from underground. And if you know what it sounds like, you listen for it as you go walking. And so they were traipsing all around outside in the forest, trying to listen to where the break was. And they finally found it. It was there's a road, and it was near the road, but it wasn't actually near the road because there's ditches, and it was a mess. Because they had to take an outlet road and then make their way through the actual forest with an earth mover and a tractor and all their equipment. They were out in the woods doing this. And they had to dig it up, and they had to refix it, and then they had to rebury everything again. So yeah, no wonder it takes forever. Now, I do have to apologize. There were a lot, and I surprised myself with how many, a lot of microaggressions against my housemates in my vlog yesterday, and I am sorry about that. I hadn't realized how many frustrations I still have. And somebody in comments said, it seems illogical that they would do this sort of thing. You don't make sense. And my answer was, you don't live with these people. They're just people. They're young people that have lived their lives, and the way they've lived their lives have ended up with the situation where they may not call if the power goes out, in the hopes that they get, the city will figure it out or someone else will call. And it may be 8 hours of the power being out before I can finally convince them to call, and then the ball gets rolling and things get fixed. They're just people. We're all illogical. We're all contrary. Good Lord, 90% of the stuff I do doesn't make sense, and I like to think of myself as logical in reasoning. We're all goofy. We're all backwards. None of us make sense. The reasons that we do things, who knows? I mean, they've hooked machines up to our heads as we've made decisions, and they discovered that our bodies make decisions before we do. If we're given a choice of choose this or choose this, our body will reach for something, and then our mind will go, okay, I want this one that I'm reaching for. Your mind makes up its mind after your body is already doing it. What makes us run? Who knows? Now let's see if I have more stories written down here on my topics list. Maybe not stories, but stuff that I was just talking about, or thinking about, not talking about. Like yesterday, this is just really, really weird. Well, it was the day before, actually, because yesterday I was out traipsing around and making videos because the power was out. My body is so backwards with stimulants. Luckily, I have an appointment, a phone appointment with my primary care provider, so I'm going to talk about my ADHD stuff. Because not yesterday, gosh darn it, and I might have even talked about this before, I can't even remember now, with the irritation of yesterday of the power going out, but I started off my day by taking a 200 milligram caffeine tablet. And then at 4 o'clock, 8 hours later, I took another 200 milligram caffeine tablet. Now 200 milligrams, that's not a lot. That's like 2 cups of really strong coffee. So that's not a ton of caffeine, but for some people, even just 1 cup of normal coffee at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon is enough to destroy it so that they can't sleep that night. So 200 milligrams can be heavy duty, and that's 400 milligrams now I've taken all day at 4 o'clock, and I'm washing it down with a caffeinated beverage, so I've got even more caffeine going into my system. Now, if you've got that much caffeine, don't you think you'd get a little jittery? Don't you think your heartbeat would go up? My heartbeat dropped over the next couple hours by 5 to 10 beats. My body slows down and relaxes when I get things like caffeine. These days, when I smoke sativa cannabis, which is a stimulant among the cannabis family, it's got a stimulating agent, which is also a problem because it has anxiety-causing agents in it as well. I fall asleep. I have serious forehead anchor when I smoke sativas. So I have a big old biochemical issue there, and that sure sounds like ADHD. And the more I learn about it, and the more I learn about this stuff, the more I realize how much it has affected me my entire life. Thumbs up for that. So I'm going to talk to my primary care provider, find out how I can do any of these things, because I have no working vehicle. I have no way to get out of Shelton to get anywhere. So hopefully there'll be some services in Shelton that I'll be able to access for the VA stuff. Thumbs up. Well, good golly, Miss Molly, there is more that I want to talk about, but at the same time, I have opened up 24 hours worth of comments on my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people for having left me a comment. I'm not reading the comments right now, I'm just thanking you for having left a comment. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker, and even though I count in American Sign Language with my depression, fibro, ADHD, grief, and more, I'm lucky I can remember anything at all sometimes. I'm still getting better, and that's a very, very good thing. I'm going to reach a functional limit one day, especially with my increasing age, but for right now, it's a good thing still. So we have Mike, thumbs up and thank you. Then there's Arrow Mason. I sure hope I'm close. Thank you very much. Sir Duncan, greatly appreciated. And then there's Milk Lover Assassin. Heck of a name. Kitty Cat Chris. Haha, thumbs up and thank you. Jing X33, greatly appreciated. Ant Cisco PvP, thumbs up. Kathy Kiss Cat, thumbs up and thank you. We have Jimmy Estrada, greatly appreciated. Furious Fist, thumbs up. There is Callum Cartini, greatly appreciated. Dorian Sky, thumbs up. We have Alejandro Solis, greatly appreciate. Colin Reisenauer, good to see you. Robert W, thumbs up. There is XX Sir Tricky XX, thumbs up and thank you. Flora Mute, good to see you in the comments. Then we have Manuel McFly, thumbs up and thank you. Clemson Dillon is the one that just can't really understand what's going on, thumbs up. Dead Cells, good to see you and hope that you stay a while. We have The Stoned Age, thumbs up and thank you. Definitely. We have Adam Doran, thumbs up. Ben Taylor, greatly appreciated. Yay, Jamie's division. And last but not least, we have Hussein NJF, thumbs up, greatly appreciated. Each and every one of you, those that I got to thank and those that have left comments more than I thank. Thank you very, very much, each and every one of you. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people, and you need that when you're depressed. You got to get out of the echo chamber of your own skull. Definitely. If you could, check out my various links down below. I have Twitter, Facebook, GoFundMe, Patreon.com. If you could donate to my GoFundMe campaign or become a Patreon.com patron like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money to one of those two places, I have a PayPal link down below. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money at all, I have an Amazon wish list link as well with things like hamster food, hamster bedding, cat food. If you could check it out, that would be very, very cool. Now, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot donate or you simply do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest. So thank you very much. If you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. A definite thumbs up. And of course, if you could subscribe to the channel and hit that bell. That would be very cool, greatly appreciated. I would understand if you did not wish to, but if you're down with it, I will do my best to keep you entertained from now until, well, at least a few more years. Considering what's happening in the US right now, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, though, I have this video here. I have a video I need to record, then edit and render, hopefully in time for my 3 o'clock time slot. If not, hey, if I go live at any time, well, public at any time, that's a thumbs up right there. So I'm not going to feel bad if it's not at the proscribed time, as long as it's up. Thumbs up for that. So, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, my friend. And of course, please wear a mask. It is simple and it works. It works. Practice your self-care in these hard times. Oh, please take care. Practice your social distancing. It's a good idea and it too works. And of course, Black Lives Matter. Justice for everybody. The black-shirted, the black-booted, brown-shirted thugs keep brutalizing and murdering. I don't know what's going to happen. I can only hope that it's good.